Marlins Park in Miami as night starts to fall on South Florida. Come on inside with the roof closed. The Marlins and the Diamondbacks getting ready to go. University of Miami weekend continues. Last night there were 32,000 people in the ballpark, but only 3 hits for the Miami Marlins. And tonight the Fish go against Ian Kennedy. Anibal Sanchez gets the baseballs. The Marlins try to snap a 6-game losing streak. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. 6 games in a row the Marlins have lost. They've scored a total of 6 runs over that span. And Ozzie Guillen has seen enough. He is shaking up the lineup tonight.
Yeah, he is, and it's nice to see. I think in the past we've seen some Marlins managers really not do that too often. Ozzie's not afraid to. We've got Jose Reyes hitting in the number 2 spot. Bonifacio slides into the leadoff spot. No stranger to that for either one, actually. Reyes hit in the 2nd spot a couple of years ago in 2010.
Greg Dobbs is getting the start in right field. Omar Infante's groin is acted up. That means Emilio Bonifacio is sliding to second base. Chris Coughlin's going to get some time in center field.
I think it's a good opportunity for Chris Coughlin. He's struggling with some base hits. He's going to get a chance, I think, to be in the lineup a little bit. And, of course, Greg Dobbs, you know he always gives you those professional at-bats.
And the Marlins face a guy that may be the hottest pitcher right now going back to last season in the National League, and that's Ian Kennedy.
Ian Kennedy last year was 21-4. He finished 4th in the Cy Young voting. Not an overpowering guy. He throws in the low 90s, but has great command when he's on his game.
Anibal Sanchez numbers have been outstanding, and he's like every starter the Marlins have. His record should be better right now.
Yeah, you look at the numbers and you look at his ERA and you say, wow, he could have 3 or 4 wins. And, of course, he'll always have fond memories facing the Arizona Diamondbacks. It was back in September 6th to be exact, 2006. Sanchez threw a no-hitter against Arizona.
All right, let's head out to center field as we get ready for this one. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Gentlemen.
All right, thank you very much, Rich and Tommy. The big stories you guys mentioned. Jose Reyes batting second in the lineup. How do you like this move for tonight?
I like it. I think Jose's been pressing. He's in a new city. He's with a new team. He embraced that whole move down here to South Florida, and I think he really wanted to do well. And when you start off a little slow, especially early in the year, your average seems so terrible, and he's really pressing to get hits.
And I asked him about moving to number 2 and his thoughts tonight on helping the Marlins perhaps get a victory.
I'm a leadoff guy. You know, my job here is to get on base. I know if I don't get on base, that means I don't do my job. I know when I start to get on base, you know, everybody going to get better too.
And Jose, by the way, embraces, hey, I'll bet wherever they want him, a team player. And when you talk to Jose Reyes, that's the first thing you get. He's a team guy.
Yeah, he wants to do well. You know, he wants the team to do well. He really wants wins. He's all about W's, and there's no qualms whatsoever about going down the lineup.
We were looking for a slump buster, so our pick to click is back. You know, when you score less than 2 runs, 6 straight games, 2 or less, you got to do something. All right, so Rich has got Logan. Tommy picked Jose Reyes tonight. This is total bases and RBIs, total wins. We'll have the results after. Hanley for Raul. Cookie's got Emilio. Niner, you took Dauber.
Dauber, you know, he's getting his chance to start tonight, and I think he's going to do well.
I'm going along the same lines. I'm going with Coughlin in a tough 8 spot. Like the way he's been swinging and limited opportunity. And the staff overall has got Gabby Sanchez. We'll let you know the winner who will be buying dinner.
UM night might be big for Gabby
UM
Sanchez.
night, that's a good pick by the crack staff. We'll see what theme plays out here. Little different look for the Marlins lineup. They hope to shake it up and even up this 4-game series in Game 2 against tough Ian Kennedy and the D-backs. We'll have it for you next. Niner and I will see you after the game right here on Fox Sports Florida.
2 of a 4-game series. Anibal Sanchez getting hydrated, getting ready to take on a team that he faced in just his 13th big league start. He was a rookie back in 2006, and he was dominant this September night. So much so that he would throw the 4th no-hitter in Marlins history. He got a great catch from Josh Willingham. This the final roller. Hanley Ramirez on to first, and Anibal Sanchez had himself a no-hitter. Long ago, Sanchez has had no-hit stuff on a few occasions since then, and tonight he's hopeful that he can shut down the Diamondbacks. Hopefully he can get some runs as well. Sanchez and the pitch take on the Diamondbacks next. Park for the Marlins and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks winners last night, 5-0. A 3-hit shutout by Joe Saunders. Tonight it's Anibal Sanchez. And Sanchez takes aim at the Diamondbacks. Willie Bloomquist will lead it off. Pinch a Penny brings you our first pitch. And that first pitch is a get-me-over fastball at 87 miles an hour for a strike. Sanchez last time out gave up just 2 runs in 7 innings on the road at Washington. Liner to right. Dobbs is over, and he'll pick it on a hop from the corner. Bloomquist headed for second. Willie Bloomquist opens with a double. Diamondbacks did a lot of hitting last night. They had 15 hits. After Bloomquist, Gerardo Parra. Justin Upton in right. Jason Kubel was 4 for 4 last night. Miguel Montero had a big hit late in the ball game. Paul Goldschmidt, we didn't see him last night, but a big right-handed slugger at first. Aaron Hill homered last night. Ryan Roberts was all over the place defensively, and Kennedy is in the 9 spot. And here is Parra, who was 1 for 5 in the ball game last night. He shortens the bunt, and Sanchez misses up with a fastball.
You know, we've talked about the no-hitter that Anibal Sanchez threw against the Diamondbacks, but he's also 3-1 in his career against Arizona in 5 starts. So he's pitched well against this club.
Kirk Gibson with the Parra squaring there, maybe trying to just scratch out a run. Remember, this is an Ian Kennedy start. He's swinging, lines it in the gap, left center field. That's going to go to the wall. It'll score Bloomquist easily. Parra around second will hold there. And the Diamondbacks have barreled up 2 balls a pair of doubles, and just like that, it's 1-0.
Well, they've come out swinging the bat the way they did last night with the 15 base hits. 2 well-hit balls on some fastballs from Sanchez. The one by Bloomquist, that one by Parra.
The oddity about last night for this Diamondback team, a group that has hit a lot of home runs, 15 hits. They had only 2 extra base hits all of last night, and they already have 2 tonight. Upton takes outside. Upton had a single last night, an Aaron Hill homer, and a double by Miguel Montero. Those were the extra base hits. Upton has yet to really heat up like he did from mid-May on last year. Sanchez gets a strike, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a Diamondback club that is 10-10, as we noted last night. Got off to a very good offensive start, and then lost Chris Young, who was kind of driving that engine offensively, to a shoulder injury. He hit 5 home runs. And a strike from Sanchez, 1-2.
That a better fastball. I think sometimes a pitcher, when he comes out and just wants to establish things in the first inning, maybe use that fastball. Sometimes you have to go away from that game plan if the Diamondbacks swing the way they have.
Got him. So Sanchez strikes out Upton. The Marlins defensively are a very different looking team than last night.
Yeah, they sure are, with Logan Morrison, Chris Coughlin, and Greg Dobbs in the outfield. Some left-handed bats there. Hanley and Reyes, Bonifacio and Gabby Sanchez, and Brett Hayes does the catching. Did a nice job in New York the other day.
Well, let's see if Sanchez can get Jason Kubel out. 4 hits and a walk last night for Kubel. He has hit in 10 straight at a .421 clip over those 10 games. (2-0). Kubel, part of that Minnesota Twins ball club. Last year was a tough year both for Kubel and the Twins. But in 2010 he had 21 homers, drove in 92. 2009, 28 homers, 100 RBIs.
You mentioned it last night. He kind of got lost in the shuffle, you know, with Morneau and Bauer.
Even Kadire.
Yeah.
Kadire now having a nice start to his career with the Colorado Rockies. There's Parra, his double following Willie Bloomquist's leadoff double.
Good changeup. You mentioned the 10-game hitting streak, but it's not Panda-like. Pablo Sandoval of the Giants is hitting every game this year. There's that good changeup moving away. Sandoval with a 20-game hitting streak right now.
(2-2). Got him. Kubel with a discussion. He and James Hoy talking it over. Here's a look.
Keep in mind, this fastball with a little movement comes after a really good changeup that had Kubel fooled. So there's really a great example of 2 good back-to-back pitches.
And there's your Fox tracks on it. That pitch number 5 right on the black. So the Diamondbacks go double-double, and then Sanchez goes strikeout.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he's making some quality pitches. I always wondered when a hitter gets called out like that, goes back either sometime during the game or the next day to look at video. Wonder what he has to say to Fox Tracks.
Well, if he, you know, and this happens a lot for both pitchers and hitters. If they have time, they will duck back into the clubhouse and look at the video just to find out if that pitch was in or not. And oftentimes when the hitter comes to the plate for the next at bat, they will either admit to the umpire that, hey, you got that one right, or I was wrong, or they'll say, yeah, you missed it. That's into center field, and the Diamondbacks are going to take a 2-0 lead as Miguel Montero delivers run number 2. He drove in 3 last night, and Montero with the 3rd hit of the inning, a clean single into center field.
Well, we mentioned it last night. 86 RBIs last year for Montero. A lot of base hits just like that in key situations. Parra scoring easily.
Paul Goldschmidt now. Goldschmidt, the native of Houston. 8th round pick back in 2009, and he's climbed the ladder quite quickly. In fact, he was the USA Today Minor League Player of the Year last year. That was close.
To respond to what you were talking about, a hitter going back and looking at the pitch and then maybe going up his next AB, I would say you're better off endearing yourself with the umpire and say, you know, that was a good call. Went back and saw it, because then you might get a call later on during the game.
Goldschmidt went after that pitch. Goldschmidt appeared in 48 games last year and hit 8 home runs. You add those 8 home runs to the 30 he hit in Double-A in just 103 games. And he had quite a year. He's only 24.
Well, and you talked about the year he had in 2010. Hit 35 home runs that year.
Montero's at first. Doubles by Bloomquist and Parra. Sanchez struck out. Upton swinging. Kubel looking. But Montero over at first has made it 2-0. Now the 2-2. Breaking ball is up. Someone the other day asked Ozzie Guillen what it felt like when the Marlins were down 2-0, and he said, to be honest, it felt like 20-0. The way the Marlins have been getting hits and scoring runs. The Diamondbacks have given their ace, Ian Kennedy, a 2-0 lead. 3-2, runner on the move, and Sanchez misses. And so this has not been the Anibal Sanchez that the Marlins have seen his first 3 starts. In 3 starts, he had walked just 4 and struck out 19. And opposing batters were hitting just .213 against him.
Well, he's given up 3 hits here in the first inning. In his 7 innings against the Nationals, gave up just 5 hits, and a couple of those hurt him. Solo home runs by Jason Worth and Ian Desmond.
You see the 3 starts. So it slides further down the order, and Aaron Hill is not a guy you want to groove a fastball to. He'll hit it out. He put one in the Clevelander last night. He's hit 4 already this season. In the dirt, Hayes has to smother it.
See, word will get out around the league. Guys will say, yeah, I went to the Clevelander last night. Well, he went to the Clevelander with about 370 feet.
The 1-0. See, some would say it's impressive to arrive at the Clevelander by limo. There was a group of about 8 Diamondbacks, I'm sure pitchers, during batting practice, because pitchers can go wherever they want, essentially in the outfield.
You kind of roam around.
Just
stay out of everybody's way.
Who were all standing on the warning track out in left field during batting practice because the show had started out there. The party had started. People were there. The dancers were going. The music was going. And so rather than shag and straightaway left, they would wait till the balls rolled to them on the warning track.
Anything hit the left center, there were 6 guys yelling, "I got it."
1-2 now. Montero's at second. Goldschmidt's at first. Tonight is starting a lot like last night.
Well, it becomes tough for the starting pitchers going out there and watching over the last week the offense not produce. And so the starting pitcher goes out there feeling he can't make any mistakes, can't give up runs. That puts a little extra pressure on him.
Sanchez now has run the count full on Aaron Hill.
And he's at 27 pitches right now.
And his split is not real good. Only 14 of those strikes. You saw Ryan Roberts on deck. So Montero from second, Goldschmidt from first, on the move on a 3-2 that misses badly. And Sanchez is struggling. Here comes Roberts. They are loaded up.
You know, it's funny too, because after the double by Parra, Sanchez really settled in and made some excellent pitches to get back-to-back strikeouts. 2 good hitters, Justin Upton and Jason Kubel.
Roberts was probably the defensive player of the game last night for the Diamondbacks.
He was the busiest.
He was 0 for 4 at the plate. Sanchez misses low. It's 1-0. A struggling hitter, but I don't care if you're a struggling hitter or not. You get ahead in the count, and all of a sudden, your batting average and your success rate jumps.
It's fun to get onto a Baseball Reference, and you can look at splits for hitters and to the number down the line. You look at a hitter, what he does when the count's 0-2 or 1-2.
Now it's 1-2.
And that was a good slider.
Bags loaded. Sanchez trying to limit the damage. Roberts didn't offer at the breaking ball, and it counts 2-2. Last night, the Diamondbacks jumped on the Marlins early, beat Carlos Zambrano. Joe Saunders was outstanding. They've got their ace on the mound in Ian Kennedy, and they've provided him already with 2 runs. Roberts swings and misses, and Anibal Sanchez angry at himself as he stomps off the mound. It's 2-0 Arizona. the first. The Marlins trying to shake out of their offensive doldrums right now. And they'll do it with a lineup that it hasn't had a complete makeover, but it's pretty darn close. Flip-flopping up top, Emilio Bonifacio and Jose Reyes. Hanley Ramirez, Logan Morrison, Gabby Sanchez hitting 5th. Greg Dobbs getting the start for Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton is fine physically. Brett Hayes will do the catching, and Hayes hits 7th, and Chris Coughlin in center hits 8th. Anibal Sanchez hits 9th. Omar Infante out. The tight groin is still an issue. Bonifacio takes ball 1 from Ian Kennedy, who was an absolute stud last year.
Yeah, he sure was. 27-year-old right-hander out of the University of Southern California. Some pretty good pitchers have come out of that school.
Sails that fastball up.
But I think as you watch him, you won't see a guy throwing mid-90s. You'll see a guy who's been on a tremendous roll as far as winning games. He's 16-1 since last July.
It's amazing that there were 3 better pitchers than he in the National League, or so thought the Cy Young voters. He finished 4th. Of course, Clayton Kershaw won it. Roy Halladay 2nd. Cliff Lee 3rd. And Kennedy, as you pointed out, finished with such a flourish, 16-1 in the last 19 starts. And on the road, he's been dominant, much like Joe Saunders last night, who has impressive road numbers. That pitch is up. His last 16 road starts, he's 11-2.
It tells you that he has a good routine, and he keeps it the same at home and on the road.
Bonifacio has worked the count to 3-2. And he walks, and so Bonifacio is on base. And we look at the Diamondbacks defensively.
Yeah, and only the 6th walk for Ian Kennedy this year. Kubel, Parra, and Upton in that outfield. Parra, Gold Glove winner in left field last year. Roberts had 9 ground balls last night hit his way. Bloomquist and Hill up the middle. Goldschmidt at first base. In his games last year, over 40 games, did not make an error. And Miguel Montero behind the plate.
So Bonifacio's at first. He has stolen 9 bases this year. He hasn't been caught. But Miguel Montero behind the plate led National League catchers, throwing out 40% of base stealers, or would-be base stealers, last year. And Reyes takes ball 1. It's 1-0.
Yeah, and as you noticed on the delivery to the plate, Kennedy fairly quick to home plate.
One-0 pitch, Reyes up the middle, sliding style. My goodness, Willie Bloomquist. Where did that come from? Bloomquist dove for the ball, somehow got it off to Aaron Hill, and the Diamondbacks get the out at second.
When you're going bad, you're going bad. Look at that, a flip. Somehow he gets the speedy Bonifacio. Hill was right there. Watch this flip. Backhand. Very close. Bang, bang play at second base. But when things are going badly the way they have been for Jose Reyes and the ball club.
Look at Bloomquist.
He face plants and made the play.
But as he face planted, he kind of rolled up on his head to watch and see if the toss got delivered. Wow.
Hey, when you're on a roll and everybody's getting hits and you're winning games, that play isn't made.
Well, if there's no one at first base, that's a base hit. I mean, Reyes is going to beat that out. Bloomquist is in no position to get up and throw him out at first. Hanley now takes outside. It's 1-0.
Unless he has that same backhand flip to first base.
Long drought right now for Hanley. His average is dipped to 211. He does not have a hit since the last homestand. Hitless last night. Hitless on the road trip. But he's got company. The Marlins in this 6-game losing streak have scored a total of 6 runs. Two-0 misses away, and it's 3-0.
Check on the scouting report tonight, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. Command pitcher, we've talked about that. Nothing really overpowering, but he just has good stuff, knows how to spot the corners, and last year 4th in that Cy Young voting. Incredible. I agree with you. I was surprised.
He's outside, and Kennedy walks Hanley Ramirez.
Well, he came into this game.
Is he all right? Both the middle infielders are coming in to check on him.
He came into this game where it's 25 2/3 innings. He'd only walked 5, and he's walked 2 here in the first inning. Well, Gibson's not out there.
He seems to be fine, but immediately Hill and Bloomquist trotted in. Bloomquist still on the mound. And they seem fine with the explanation. Charles Nagy, the pitching coach, and
yeah, you would think
the skipper Kirk Gibson.
It was a little more serious than that Nagy would be out there.
Kennedy had walked only 5 in his 4 previous starts, and he's walked 2 already tonight. Here's Morrison now. With a pitcher like Ian Kennedy, when you get an opportunity early, you're best served to take advantage of it when you can. Kennedy, one of those Yankee prospects that the Yankees dealt away. He was a piece in a 3-team trade. Diamondbacks, Tigers, Yankees. The big piece that the Yankees got was Curtis Granderson.
There's some pretty good pitchers in that deal.
Biggest piece the Tigers got was Max Scherzer. The Diamondbacks getting Ian Kennedy. And in 2010, he was not bad. His first full season, he was 9-10 with a 3.80 ERA. But last year, he just blew up. 21-4. Ball and a strike in the dirt. Well, neither pitcher looks sharp. The Diamondbacks took advantage and put 2 on the board against Sanchez. The Marlins trying to answer against Kennedy.
Yeah, a little time for Sanchi to regroup, and he'd love to see his ball club put some runs up there and get him back in the game.
Two-one, hit hard to Hill to Bloomquist, a double play. Morrison hit it on the button, and the Marlins inning fizzles. It's 2-0. Brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Coventry Healthcare, second inning. Logan Morrison hit it hard, and he scorched it right out to Aaron Hill. You think about the outs in that inning, that incredible play by Bloomquist, robbing Reyes of a hit and getting Bonifacio at second. The Marlins had a chance to get to Ian Kennedy, and they did not. Now Ian Kennedy leads it off against Anibal Sanchez. The count's 1-1.
The frustrating part of a streak that's going in the wrong direction. And we saw it in the first inning. And again, you put the thought in the starting pitcher. In this case, Anibal Sanchez, he's saying, I can't give up any more runs.
He may have had that thought when he threw the first pitch of the night.
Right.
Two and two. The Marlins have dropped to 7-12 with this 6-game losing streak. And obviously finding themselves in the basement of the National League East. The Phillies 9-11 coming into play. That's an odd pair at the bottom looking up, with the Nationals, the Braves, and the Mets above. The Nationals, of course, causing lots of news, not only by their start, but by bringing up Bryce Harper, who is scheduled to start his big league career against the Dodgers, and Sanchez walks the pitcher, Ian Kennedy.
Not at all what he wanted to do to start this inning. He had a chance to get an out, to get the pitcher, couldn't do it. And there are those standings you were talking about, Rich.
The Braves, very quietly, after stumbling out of the blocks, have built a nice 13-7 record. Nationals taking on the Dodgers. That's a Steven Strasburg start against Chad Billingsley. Whoa.
Wow.
Bloomquist squared to bunt, and that ball nearly hit him in the head. This is as wild as I've seen Sanchez in a long, long time. And I think Ozzie Guillen right now visibly concerned, as he should be. Braves are trailing the Pirates 2-0 in the second. That's in Atlanta.
You talked about Bryce Harper. The Angels calling up their young phenom Mike Trout.
And releasing Bobby Abreu. So Bloomquist, who doubled to open the ball game, he would score on Gerardo Parra's double. The Diamondbacks would chase home Parra. 2-out single by Miguel Montero. And a 1-0 breaking ball misses outside. I mean, you're right. What has happened to Sanchez, who gave up the 2 drives for doubles and then struck out Upton, carved up Kubel, and then literally fell apart again, giving up a single and walking 2. And now
he's all over the place.
He walks the pitcher to open the inning. He fires one to the backstop over the head of Bloomquist, and he's gone 3-0. And that one backs Bloomquist off the plate. Here comes Randy St. Clair, and you can hear the crowd voicing their displeasure. This is a ball club that has dropped 6 in a row, but has had terrific starting pitching.
He almost didn't find Fox tracks with some of those pitches.
Yeah, Warren Henry bringing you Fox tracks tonight. That's the cruelty of this losing streak. The Marlins starting pitching has been very good. 6 runs in 6 games won't win you any ball games, and it hasn't for Miami.
Yeah, I've tried to turn away when I've looked at the offensive numbers over the last 6 games, but boy, the batting average, runners in scoring position, 2 for 26. Hanley hitless, 0 for his last 24. Reyes 3 for 24. Bonifacio 2 for his last 24.
Now Parra. He went after it, and it's a strike. And you get a sense that for the Diamondbacks, they feel all of this momentum swinging their way. A win last night. They had 15 hits. They're playing a team that's dropped 6 in a row with a starter that is visibly struggling right now. Oh, 0-2. Start number 4 for Sanchez. Bloomquist and Kennedy with nobody out. It's in, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, right now, Jason Kubel is saying that's not the same guy that struck me out with a great changeup and a fastball on the inside corner.
There's the changeup, and he gets the strikeout. Sanchez got 4 strikeouts. Season tickets on sale. Of course, if you want to come down to Marlins Park, you can do it as a full season ticket holder or a mini plan season ticket holder. Enjoy huge savings and exclusive benefits and access. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com.
Here's the oddity, Rich. Sanchez has gotten 4 outs, and they've all been strikeouts.
Upton. That one's fouled back. Upton went down swinging. His second at bat. 1 out here in the second inning. Pretty good breaking ball. And that's the pitch that Upton struck out on. Off the plate. 1-1 coming. The pitch count for Anibal Sanchez is obscenely high right now. 52 pitches. 4 walks and 4 strikeouts.
No, we saw Chad Godin, the Marlins' long man at the bullpen last night. But you get to a point, the Marlins are in a stretch of 16 consecutive games, and you can't start dipping into that bullpen in the 3rd and 4th inning too many times.
Outside corner, Upton barks his displeasure.
It's an amazing outing so far for Anibal Sanchez. All 5 outs he's recorded are strikeouts. He's made some perfect pitches. He may have gotten a little help on that one, which is surprising when you're all over the place. Upton has a beef, but he got the strikeout.
Change up to Kubel. Kubel was called out on strikes on a comeback fastball that caught the plate in the first. Outside corner. And now against Upton,
he's reverted back to that pitcher.
Against Upton and Kubel, he's looked like the no-hitter Anibal Sanchez. The 0-2. He got out of it with 3 consecutive strikeouts. That's amazing.
Es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Marlins Park, 2-0. There's a Heat fan there. The Heat wiping out the Knicks in Game 1 of their playoff series, which started this afternoon. A lot of fans out on the plaza, the West Plaza, before the ball game watching that game. In fact, they had it on the big screen here in right center field, and many of the fans that were in watching batting practice watching it as well.
At one point, the Heat had a 32-2 run on the Knicks.
Gabby Sanchez, Greg Dobbs, Brett Hayes. If you just happened by, this has been an odd start. The Diamondbacks scored 2 against a wild Anibal Sanchez in the first. The Marlins had Ian Kennedy bothered. Kennedy walked a couple. They got an incredible play from their shortstop Willie Bloomquist to rob Jose Reyes of a hit, and then Logan Morrison hit a hot smash that turned into a double play, which kind of sums up the way things have gone for the Fish. Sanchez 1 for 3 in last night's ball game, and that's significant because the Marlins only had 3 hits. One-two buzzes Gabby up and in.
And right now the Diamondbacks hitters are kind of shaking their heads.
You know, here's the odd thing about Ian Kennedy's start. We've already documented Sanchez is 57 pitches into this thing. Kennedy has thrown 20 pitches, only 7 have been strikes. And yet he's got a 2-0 lead. And he gets Gabby Sanchez to pop into shallow right. Aaron Hill is there, and Hill makes the catch. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. One of the tweaks that Ozzie Guillen has made to his lineup is giving Greg Dobbs a start and giving Giancarlo Stanton the night off. Dobbs goes after the first pitch. Shallow left. Kubel in and makes the catch. And there are 2 outs, and here comes Brett Hayes.
You watch Greg Dobbs. He has such a good idea at the plate. Personally, I can't fault him when you see him swing at a first pitch, because a lot of times you don't see him do that. You see him take a few. That just tells me he had an idea of what he was going to get. He got that pitch. He just got under it, popped it up.
Now Hayes. And he gets a strike from Kennedy. Hayes on the road trip. Got the start on Thursday. He pulls that one down the left field line. It's going to stay fair and into the corner. Hayes headed to second. Has himself a double. So Brett Hayes with a 2-out double here in the second.
We saw this last year. Brett Hayes just respond when he got the opportunity to start games, and early on he got off to a really good start. In the month of April last year, Brett Hayes was 7 for 13 with a home run.
You saw in that replay that ball hit right in the middle of the chalk on the warning track. There it is. Mike Estabrook, the third base umpire, had a good view. Now Coughlin up, and Kennedy probably going to be very careful with Coughlin because you've got Sanchez on deck. It's a tough spot to hit in. Your ball club has scored 6 runs in the last 6 games. You got a guy in scoring position, a very good pitcher on the mound, who's pitching to you very carefully.
Yeah, you'll talk to hitters and guys who have had to hit in that number 8 spot. I'll tell you, it's a tough spot. It's hard to guess. You don't know if they're going to go after you or if they're going to just pitch around you, see if you're going to chase something. Sometimes you guess backwards.
Against Kennedy. Kennedy's made 3 starts against the Marlins. And he's up and in. Made a couple of starts last year. Marlins beat him once. And then Kennedy, the winner, on the 11th of June. Coghlan takes up. Now it's 3-1.
Well, we talked about Kennedy being a 20-game winner, 21-4. The Diamondbacks have had 3 other pitchers win 20 or more. Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, I think you can figure those out, and Brandon Webb.
A strike, and that stops Coghlan on his way towards first. Corners are pretty big for James Hoyt.
And again, here's a spot where you're really not sure what you're going to get. First base open, pitchers on deck.
Coghlan drives it to right, Upton back, and he's there and makes the catch. Marlins leave a runner in scoring position, trail it 2-0. Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. University of Miami weekend, and tonight is University of Miami night. Right now it's the Diamondbacks night, 2-0. But of course, the Marlins Park sits on the site of the old Orange Bowl, and such great memories in Miami history, both for the Hurricanes and for the Dolphins. A little later on in the telecast, Craig Minervini will make his way up to the Orange Bowl spot near the ballpark. Sanchez, a one-hopper off the bat of Miguel Montero, and the curious night of Anibal Sanchez continues.
Do we need to tell you? He'd love to have a low pitch inning. That's the first out, by the way, that wasn't a strikeout.
It's amazing. He has struck out 6. He's walked 4. He's given up 3 hits. All of those hits were in the first inning. 2 of the walks were in the first inning.
There are a couple of hitters in their lineup, 2 or 3, that are saying Sanchez has no hit stuff.
Yet he's trailing 2-0, and he's thrown 60 pitches now. And his strikeouts have come in flurries. Upton and Kubel in the first. Liner to right. Dobbs to his right. There, and he makes the catch. Paul Goldschmidt lining out to deep right.
Not a real familiar position for Greg Dobbs, but got a bead on it, got a pretty good jump, and took a nice route.
Dobbs made a terrific catch when playing right field in Washington, venturing into foul ground and making a running catch along the rail. Aaron Hill now takes outside. And a strike. Some news around the Diamondbacks ball club, centering on their rotation. Kirk Gibson was expected on Monday to roll out a big right-hander, Josh Colementor, but instead it looks like it'll be a call-up from the minor leagues. Well, Anibal Sanchez, a 9-pitch inning. And you're right, that inning he had no hit stuff.
Offense is struggling. Only one other time in their history have they gone as many as 6 straight games scoring 2 runs or less. That was in 1998, but they're a long way from the history books. Since the Marlins came into existence, 38 teams have had such streak or longer, led by the Detroit Tigers, if you want to say lead. 10 games with 2 runs or less straight back in 2002. Now, a long way from the record books. You may have never heard of this team. The all-time record is 12 straight games of 2 runs or less, set by a team that I had never heard of. These is it Superbas? Brooklyn Superbas or Superbas, 1904, 1907. They did it twice. And look at that. Annabelle gets a base hit for the Marlins. The Superbas became the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1910. One other fact looking about them I found out today, when they moved from the American Association to the National League, They won the pennant in each league, and they were the only team to ever switch and win consecutive pennants in different leagues. I think it was 1899 and 1900. So, have you guys heard of is it Superbas or Superbas? I'm not sure. But that's the team.
I would guess Superbas, but I've not heard of them.
Me too.
They're not on my MLB 12 at-bat app, so I'm
I
having
checked
trouble.
Baseball Reference. I had a hard time.
It was, by the way, 1889 and 1890 when they had those back-to-back pennants.
Emilio Bonifacio trying to lay down a bunt for a base hit, pops it foul. Anibal Sanchez leading off the third with a base hit. The Marlins have 2 hits now against Ian Kennedy.
Which is crazy. Sometimes, as odd as things have been over the last week, and also as they've been in this game, sometimes you get a rally started by a pitcher. So Sanchez getting it started with a base hit.
Marlins thought they had a rally going in the first when Bonifacio walked. Reyes then hit a sharp ball up the middle that looked like a base hit. Willie Bloomquist diving to his left behind the bag. The Diamondback shortstop got the ball, and then in a Matrix-like move, Keanu Reeves-like move, flipped it while he was tumbling and got it right to Aaron Hill just in time to get Bonifacio, and it robbed Reyes of a hit. It slowed down the Marlins, who would not score in the inning.
And I actually think Rich did a little better job of acting than Keanu Reeves.
Ow. Wow. Counts 2-1. Two and two. Bonifacio in the leadoff spot. Reyes is hitting second. Giancarlo Stanton is not in the lineup tonight. Omar Infante is not in the lineup tonight. Infante is out because of an injury.
I think Ozzy's really being careful with Infante.
Tightness in the groin still. And Kennedy misses outside.
It really appears Kennedy's struggling with his secondary pitches. Just on a few changeup. That breaking ball missed badly. So he is definitely not as sharp as he has been.
Three-two coming. Bonifacio up the middle. That's into center field. No one will get that. And so the Marlins have runners first and second.
You and I talking to Bonifacio around the batting cage about his early experiences coming up with the Diamondbacks. Of course, that was his first organization. So I know he always enjoys hitting against this ball club. Spent a few games with them in 07, a few games in 08.
That was an organization at the time, you know, back in 05, 06, that was loaded with infield talent. They had Stephen Drew coming up, Mark Reynolds coming up. Dan Uggla was stuck in that system. Bonifacio was a year behind Uggla. Now Reyes. Reyes drops down a bunt. Montero picks it up, fires to first just in time to get Reyes. I think Ian Kennedy was hopeful of getting the out at third because he knew that Anibal Sanchez was the runner, but Montero is a smart catcher and a very good catcher and realized that a very good bunt by Reyes meant no play at third.
This is an outstanding bunt, too. Once it gets off the dirt and onto the grass, the only play Montero has is to first. It's bang, bang there. And when you have a pitcher who doesn't run all that well at second, you have to make a perfect bunt. So nicely done by Jose Reyes.
So the Marlins, who have scored 6 runs in their last 6 games, are trying to construct an inning here. They've got second and third. The Diamondbacks infield not only is deep, but is well off the line at first. Hanley, a fly ball down the line. Tagging is Sanchez. Roberts makes the catch, and that's not going to get it done. Going after the first pitch, and it's going to be up to Morrison if this inning is going to provide any runs.
Boy, it's set up nicely with the base hit of Sanchez. Bonifacio's base hit, the beautiful sac bunt by Reyes. But not a good AB. That's certainly not what Hanley wanted to do. He is now 0 for his last 25.
Morrison hit a smash up the middle. With runners at first and second, unfortunately, it was to the right of Hill. It drew him to the bag, and Morrison gets plunked. Morrison hit by the pitch. Ozzie Guillen comes out. Morrison is up, and he doesn't want anything to do with Mike Kozak or Ozzie Guillen.
Lomo's going to race Mike Kozak and Ozzie to the bag just to show them that, hey, don't bother, I'm okay. I got a little bit of old school in me. Yeah, it hurts. Not sure if this got the knee. Yeah, it got the right knee. But you have to make sure that he can run a little bit. That's what Ozzie's trying to do. And wouldn't it be fitting, Rich, on University of Miami weekend, Gabby Sanchez coming up in this bases loaded situation. Here's that ball getting him on that right knee. Ouch.
So the bags are loaded. There are 2 outs. Gabby popped out his first time up. And Kennedy misses. His ball strike ratio is still way off from where it usually is. 21 balls, 21 strikes in his 42 pitches.
Good off speed, a little change up there. One of the few that he's thrown pretty well.
Morrison trailing Bonifacio and Anibal Sanchez. Bags are loaded. 2-0 Arizona. Pitch is up. It's 2-1. Throughout his career as a minor leaguer and a major leaguer, one of the things Gabby has always been pretty good at is getting on base, taking his walks, but that's not happened this year. Just 2 walks and 14 strikeouts. Now the count's 2-2.
Gabby has been, well, that's a high strike. Just barely got there. He's always been pretty good in these situations. 78 RBIs last year. He's averaged 82 RBIs. So pretty good run producer.
Kennedy's 2-2 pitch. Got him. And the Marlins leave the bases loaded here in the 3rd. The frustration continues. The Diamondbacks still lead it 2-0. And for the Miami Marlins, the drought continues. 6 runs in 6 games. And here tonight against one of the premier right-handers in the National League, Ian Kennedy, the Marlins have had their opportunities. Hanley now 0 for his last 25. He came up with runners second and third and 1 out. And on the first pitch, he popped up behind third base.
Yeah, that was the key at bat. I mean, Gabby made the last out, but in Gabby's at bat, he has to get a base hit to produce some runs. Hanley's was the key at bat, a chance even for a sac fly or maybe even a ground ball for an RBI.
Meanwhile, Anibal Sanchez continues on, and it's been a roller coaster for Sanchez, who gave up the 2 runs in the first, an inning in which he gave up 2 doubles, 2 walks, and struck out 3. We told you that Hanley's on an 0 for streak, and we showed it to you.
So it happens to everybody.
It happens not only to everybody, but it happens to the best of them. Cliff Floyd, his longest 0 for was 27 ABs. Preston Wilson 26. Yours was 23. Niners was 20.
The problem with my 23, that was over about 4 months probably. But it does happen.
Now Kennedy swings and misses. Sanchez has really settled in. He's retired now 7 in a row. He walked Kennedy, and that was, you know, after he gave up the 2 runs and then struck out 3, walking a couple along the way to get out of the first. He promptly walked Ian Kennedy, the pitcher, and then Willie Bloomquist to open the second, and it looked like he was just falling apart. What did he do then? He then struck out Parra, Upton, and Kubel, and since then he's been rolling. AT&T brings you our trivia question each night. 4th inning, we flip the phone. Who are the 4 players to win MVP and Manager of the Year honors?
Now we used this for you just to see if you were listening last night, because if you were, well, you know the answer.
One of them is in the house. Well, actually, one of them was in that shot. There's another one in the house. Thank you.
This, Rich, watching Anibal Sanchez, this is one of the most unique outings, number 1, I've ever seen him have, and number 2, that I've ever seen any pitcher have. The way he's worked through these first almost 4 innings.
That's his 75th pitch, a fastball that misses up high to Bloomquist.
He has 8 strikeouts. His career high in strikeouts is 11.
Whew. Man, Sanchez.
He's got some good stuff.
9 strikeouts now, and it's still 2-0. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Lexus of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. Lexus of Pembroke Pines. Out in the Cleveland dirt, Tommy Hutton arriving in his Lexus from Pembroke Pines tonight.
I'm sure you can tell because I had the windows tinted a little bit, but our friends at Lexus are enjoying this one tonight, I'm sure.
Greg Dobbs, Brett Hayes, Chris Coughlin against Ian Kennedy. And Kennedy throws a strike. Last night it was lefty Joe Saunders, a 3-hit shutout of the Fish. The Marlins have 3 hits tonight. Wade Miley, a lefty, goes tomorrow. Dobbs smacks that one in the gap, right center field. That's going to get down. Base hit. Extra bases might be 3. It goes to the wall. Dobbs trucking around second, and he's there.
We've mentioned numerous times how this is going to be a great triples ballpark for Greg Dobbs. His last triple was in 08 when he was with the Philadelphia Phillies. Did not have a triple last year. Once this ball snuck by Justin Upton, Dobbs with an eye on it, takes a good turn. Right about here, he realizes he's going to make it to third. At that point, you really don't look at the third base coach. You don't need to because you see where the ball is.
Now here's Hayes. The infield's back, and the Marlins have a chance to get a run. Hayes trying to drop a bunt down. Remember, he had a nice bunt for a base hit in New York his last start. The count is 0-1. And so here are the Marlins, who've scored all of 6 runs in their last 6 games. They've had ample opportunities in this one. They've left 5 on base. They bounced into a double play. They had second and third with 1 out last inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs last inning, and they didn't score. And of course, for the Marlins, 6 runs in 6 games. They probably looked at the box score of the Mets and the Rockies last night and saw that the Mets got 4 runs in the top of the 5th, and the Rockies scored 11 in the bottom of the 5th.
What was the final? 18-9?
18-9. That obviously was at Coors Field. 0-2 to Hayes as Kennedy tries to pitch around this triple. Fastball that's up. You got Coughlin on deck, and then Anibal Sanchez. Dobbs is still catching his breath. Hayes can put it in play past the pitcher. It'll produce a run. One and 2. In that ball game, Scott Hairston hit for the cycle for the Mets.
Incredible note on that cycle, too.
The 10th cycle in Mets history. And yet they've never had a no-hitter thrown. Here's the 1-2. That is a foul ball.
You can anticipate the crowd. You can feel the crowd just waiting for a run.
And I mean, it's been almost cruel to the crowd last night, and then tonight to come so close. And that ball right there was within inches of being fair. Not only would it have scored a run.
Well, remember, Brett Hayes doubled right off the chalk line in left field his first at bat.
So Dobbs is still at third. Kennedy. The 1-2 to Hayes. Changeup misses in. The irony of the Mets having 10 cycles and no hitters. The Marlins have thrown 4 no-hitters and have never hit for the cycle.
That's incredible.
Fish trying to get on the board. Ian Kennedy. 2-2. Change up. Got him. Ian Kennedy with the strikeout. And here comes Chris Coughlin. Two of them are in the house. The AT&T trivia question. Don Baylor and Kirk Gibson are two. Frank Robinson, Joe Torre.
Some terrific managers. Don Baylor had a nice run with the Rockies, and some tremendous players.
Now Coghlan. Corners are in now. Goldschmidt at first, Roberts at third, and Coghlan takes in. This is another one of those spots for Coghlan. Up there with a chance to do some damage, but first base is open and the pitcher's on deck.
Chris had a good AB last time up.
Kennedy catches the corner for a strike.
Took it to 2-strike count. Ended up sending a deep fly ball to right field. He'd take that same fly ball here. You know, we've talked about the coaching staff with Kirk Gibson, the guys he has. I total up the home runs. If you add up Gibson's, Baylor's, Trammell's, Matt Williams, even the 79 that Eric Young hit, you have 1,235 career home runs from his coaching staff.
Was it 16 total All-Star appearances? Fastball. Kennedy finishes off Coghlan. Wow. Well, that's the Ian Kennedy that went 21-4, giving up the leadoff triple and then striking out Hayes and striking out Coghlan, whose hand ripped right off the bat.
Boy, he made good pitches, and then he got him upstairs to chase a high fastball.
Sanchez now, as Kennedy is an out away from getting out of the inning. Sanchez had a base hit.
I think right here, if the Marlins don't score, if Kennedy gets Sanchez, you can't go forward until you hit rock bottom. And I think this would be rock bottom with a leadoff triple.
$16 All-Stars, 8 Gold Gloves, 12 Silver Sluggers on this Diamondback coaching staff. Alan Trammell was the MVP of the '84 World Series. One fouled at the plate. Gibson was the MVP of the ALCS that year in '84. The Gold Glovers, Matt Williams and Alan Trammell. There's Trammell. One-two. Sanchez diving stop. Bloomquist. This is just absolutely torture. It takes a diving catch by Willie Bloomquist, and the Marlins still haven't scored. Diamondbacks. And the Marlins, who were shut out last night on just 3 hits, haven't scored here, but they had a great opportunity in the 4th.
You know, second pitch, remember early on, if Dobbs gets what he wants, he's going to have a good swing. He starts it with his triple. First one in a few years. Hayes strikes out. Chris Coughlin strikes out. The best hit ball was hit by Anibal Sanchez, and he's robbed by the shortstop, Willie Bloomquist. Wow. And the Marlins continue their poor run with runners in scoring position. 0 for 7 tonight. I think the club was 2 for 26 in those situations coming into this game. So 2 for 33 now with runners in scoring position.
Gerardo Parra swings and misses, and it's 0-1. The other story here tonight, aside from the Marlins' inability to score, has been Anibal Sanchez, who in the first inning alone looked brilliant and awful. 2 doubles, 2 strikeouts, then a single, then 2 walks, then a strikeout. He gave up 2 runs. Then he walked the first 2 hitters in the second. There's a bunt. Hanley, bare hands. That's a real nice play.
I think the one thing that we've seen with Hanley is we haven't talked about misplays or bad plays at third. He's made the plays. That's one that I know a lot of people ask about. It's not an easy one. It's one he's going to have to make a few more times. But good balance, bare hand pick, and then across his body with a strong throw.
Since the walks to Ian Kennedy and then Willie Bloomquist to open up the second inning, Sanchez has retired 10 in a row, and he's upped his strikeout total to 9, which is 2 shy of a career high. His pitch total is at 80. He threw 33 pitches in the first inning. Changeup. Upton swings and misses. We were telling you that Josh Colmenter was supposed to start for the Diamondbacks Monday afternoon. Colmenter will not start. Patrick Corbin has been called up. He'll make his big league debut. He's a lefty. And so Wade Miley is a lefty tomorrow.
Boy, so as it turns out, the Marlins, having been shut out by Joe Saunders last night, will see 3 lefties in this series.
Josh Johnson against Wade Miley. Mark Burley against Patrick Corbin. Gorgeous pitch, breaking ball, and no beef this time from Upton, who has struck out 3 times, and Sanchez now is 1 strikeout shy of his career high. Time now for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stats. We told you Ryan Roberts was busy last night, a career high 9 assists, and that's the most by a third baseman this year in the big leagues. You can count on Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof for results. Change up a strike.
Yeah, we told you Sanchez's career high. Twice he's had 11 strikeouts in a game. The last time was last year, last September in Pittsburgh.
Sanchez in the first 2 innings looked like a guy that couldn't get anyone out, let alone couldn't get to the 5th inning. Now here he is with 10 strikeouts.
But he's, boy, to his credit, he has put it together. He's also had 2 really good at bats.
That's right. He had a base hit, and he was robbed of a hit by Bloomquist. Oh, inside corner. Sanchez. My goodness. He has retired 12 in a row. And he has tied his career high with 11 strikeouts. Incredible.
Por Toyota. Bueno, Cookie, los Marlins.
All right, Cookie and Raul join us now.
Hey, Richie,
Hey,
Tommy,
guys,
how are you
what's
guys?
up? How
Very
you doing?
good. How are you?
We're
Doing
trying
great.
to see if somebody can get a hit with somebody in scoring position, huh?
Hey, we're just amazed at the outing that Anibal Sanchez has had.
That first inning was a roller coaster ride for him, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. And I'll tell you what, it's amazing the way that he struck out now 11 batters, and he had in trouble a couple of times. He had to score a couple of runs, but he settled down, and he's holding that ball club to see if we get a chance to come back and tie this game.
And Cookie, he's had the two best at bats tonight.
He sure did. Exactly right.
I can't believe none of us picked him to click tonight in trying to get everybody out of the slump. The broadcast crew, production truck, all had a pick to click. Bonifacio swings and misses. And no one picked Sanchez.
You know, one thing about the ball club of the Diamondbacks, they back their pitchers with great defense. They've done a great job, saving a lot of base hits against them.
All right, guys. Let's hope that your pick to click comes true tonight.
All right.
All righty.
Have a good
one.
show. Bonifacio strikes out, and all of a sudden Ian Kennedy has snapped to life. Kennedy struck out 2 in the 4th with a runner at 3rd and less than 2 outs. Got Sanchez on that soft liner, and now he strikes out Bonifacio to open up the bottom of the 5th.
Jose Reyes, we talked about it a lot at the beginning of the game, hitting in the number 2 spot. He last hit second on July 10th, 2010. So he's no stranger to this spot. He's actually had 2 very good ABs tonight.
Reyes hit a ball up the middle. Maybe the play of the night was the play by Willie Bloomquist. Yes, the Marlins have had trouble scoring runs, but Bloomquist, they say for a goaltender that has a great night, he stands on his head. Well, Bloomquist literally stood on his head to make a play and rob Reyes of a hit.
And a couple of times during this stretch, we've seen an early play really kind of turn things around. Here's the catch. Somehow he's able to get it out of his glove and make the flip.
Actually, that was the line drive by Sanchez.
Like I said, here's the catch.
All right, here it is. Now watch Bloomquist.
But remember the catch that Neuenhuis made in New York?
Look at him standing on his head, literally.
Just incredible.
Here's the 2-2. It's up. It's 3-2.
So sometimes an early play can really change the way a game goes.
Yeah, well, number one, if Bloomquist doesn't stop the ball, it's 1st and 3rd and nobody out. If he doesn't throw it from wherever he threw it. Reyes takes outside. That's ball 4. The Marlins have first and second and nobody out. As it is here, they've got a runner at first and 1 out. Hanley now. He walked in the first. Another big play in this ball game was Hanley's at bat in the third. As brief as it was, he swung at the first pitch, second and third, and 1 out, and Hanley popped it up behind third base. We told you Kennedy's quick to the plate. Montero had the best throwing percentage of any catcher in the National League last year, 40%.
Kennedy, a good fielder all around. He did not make an error last year, and as you pointed out a few times, Rich, they voted on second and third for Gold Glove. He was runner-up to Clayton Kershaw in the Gold Glove voting for pitchers. Kershaw did it all last year.
Of course, Mark Burley won his 3rd consecutive in the American League, and in the competition for the Fielding Bible Award, which is awarded to just one pitcher from either league, Burley won his 3rd consecutive Fielding Bible Award. That one closer. There's pressure on everybody right now wearing a Marlins uniform. There's pressure on the starting pitcher to keep it a low-scoring game. There's pressure on base runners not to get picked off. There's pressure on hitters to drive in runs. There's pressure on the manager, the hitting coach. And as a former player in the big leagues, Tommy, you can attest to this. Being able to put that pressure aside and perform without having that pressure affect you is not an easy thing.
No, it's not. It's really hard when it permeates the entire team too.
Here's the 1-1.
No, it's one thing when a couple of guys, maybe even 3 guys, are really going bad, because they can lean on a couple of teammates who might be going good at the time, and that kind of picks everybody up. But when everybody goes down at the same time, boy, that's tough.
And the Marlins' best hitter this year is hurt, Omar Infante. He is out of the lineup tonight. The groin issue that kept him out of the lineup for a week has him down tonight and may have him down tomorrow and Monday as well. Kennedy making sure that Reyes stays close. And Hanley up there with the count 1-2. Hanley 0 for his last 24. High fly ball. Upton makes the catch, and there are 2 outs here in the 5th. Family Sunday is tomorrow. Marlins and Diamondbacks at 1:10. It's game 3 of a 4-game set. Arrive early for Snapshot Sunday. First 5,000 kids get an Omar Infante Kids t-shirt courtesy of Metro PCS. And kids can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. 1-877 Marlins, or go to marlins.com. Here's Morrison. Sharp grounder for a double play in the first. Hit on the right knee in his at bat in the 3rd inning. Morrison hasn't had any real big highs or lows yet. And this is game number 20 on the season. Counts 2-0.
We're still looking for a lefty, Logan Morrison, maybe to find that home run porch in right field. He hit one at Nationals Park that would have. All of a sudden, Ian Kennedy has rediscovered his changeup. Made some really good pitches with it.
Kennedy has 4 strikeouts. He's walked 3. 2-1 coming. Morrison pulls it. Sprawling stop. Hill throws him out and robs Morrison of a hit. 2-0 Arizona. Four great fights coming up on Saturday. One huge night. Fight Night on Fox. A little UFC for you from East Rutherford, New Jersey. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Back to the ball game, top of the 6th inning, in the strangest game that we've seen so far this year, for a lot of reasons. The Marlins still can't score, though they've come close. The Diamondbacks looked like they were going to score a ton early, and then Anibal Sanchez found his groove, and now he's retired 13 in a row and is into the 6th inning.
Rich, in the first inning, Sanchez threw 33 pitches. Over the last 3 innings before he started this one, he had thrown 32. And who would have thought he'd be pitching here in the 6th inning?
Paul Goldschmidt, Hanley at third. And if he keeps it up, he may be pitching in the 7th inning.
Well, 92 pitches. He's got a little left in the tank, I'll tell you that.
That's amazing. Look, he was at 57 pitches after 2 innings. And again, he has struck out 11, and that ties a career high. And the first inning was a mess. 2 doubles.
9 men came to play.
2 doubles, 2 walks, 3 hits. And then he walked the first 2 hitters of the 2nd inning. But since then, that's when the streak started.
Well, I give Sanchez a lot of credit. You know what? A few years ago, he may not have rebounded the way he has tonight. That's great to see.
Hill pops it up. And that's going to get over the dugout and into the seats.
It shows.
Oh, my goodness.
Shows maturity, shows concentration.
Don't wipe out. Let's hope everybody's okay. Gentleman going for a foul ball. And it looks like everyone is okay. One, two. Pitch is up. Away to Aaron Hill. Hill walked in the first, struck out in the third. Full count. 2 outs in the 6th. Hill feeds a souvenir way up to the upper deck. Another good crowd here. And, you know, I heard Craig Minervini say it on Marlins Live last night. The crowd of 32,000 was just aching and waiting.
Oh, yeah.
For something to cheer about. There's strikeout number 12.
Something to cheer about.
A career high for Anibal Sanchez, who has retired 15 consecutive Diamondbacks. Kennedy to work. Gabby Sanchez at the plate, and Kennedy misses high. The score 2-0 just begins to tell the story of this ball game. A game in which the Diamondbacks scored twice in the first inning. Looked like they were going to blow it wide open. The Marlins with opportunities to get to one of the best right-handers in the National League. But the Fish have had some tough luck, have had some bad at-bats, and still haven't scored.
You know, I think on the other hand, as you look at the job that Ian Kennedy's doing, it gives you an idea why he was one of 3 20-game winners last year. I mean, he's had to work around not having his best of stuff early on, walked a couple in the first inning. But Justin Verlander, Kennedy, and Kershaw, the only 20-game winners in baseball last year.
Gabby takes up, and it's 2-2. Gabby struck out with the bases loaded in the third. Marlins had second and third and 1 out that inning. Hanley popped out. Morrison was hit, and then Gabby struck out. Smokes it. Roberts so good at third. Whips it across.
This is where it really starts to get frustrating for a club. Hard hit balls, great plays on defense. You feel like there's not a hole out there at all for a ball to get through.
And there's been plenty of great plays defensively. Now Steve Cishek is up, and the reason he's up is that Anibal Sanchez's spot is 4 hitters away.
Well, and he's at 99 pitches. There was a lot of stress on that arm the first couple of innings, so that's how you have to look at that pitch count too.
Here is Dobbs. How poorly are the Marlins going? Well, Greg Dobbs tripled to lead off the 4th. And the Fish still didn't score. Brett Hayes struck out. Chris Coghlan struck out. Sanchez, of all people, hit a soft liner that Bloomquist made a diving catch on. And that has kept Miami off the board. And so the Fish last night, 9 scoreless innings. And in this one, 5 scoreless.
Well, they had a runner at third, Anibal Sanchez, in the 3rd inning with less than 2 out. And Hanley popped up to 3rd. Had a chance to produce the 1st run.
Marlins have gone 18 innings now without scoring a run, and that goes back to the loss against the Mets when the Marlins had the lead late and couldn't hold it. And that Ricky Nolasco start, they lost 3-2. Dobbs sitting on a 1-2 here. Big breaking ball. Dobbs had seen that pitch already in the at bat. He fouls it off.
You know, there's some matchups that you look at and they're really good. And there's some you look at and you go, how can that be? And when I looked at Greg Dobbs in over 50 at bats, a pretty good sample size against the Diamondbacks coming into this game, just a 127 lifetime average.
Dobbs smacks that to center, hits it well. Back goes Parr, got turned around and makes a stumbling basket catch at the warning track. My goodness.
I'm telling you, it goes on and on and on. The Marlins are having good at bats. They've been great plays. They've been plays that aren't so great, but Parra regroups. It's one of the reasons he won a Gold Glove last year in left field. He went a little too deep, but came back and was able to basket catch it.
Gerardo Parra in center. And here is Hayes. Kennedy gets a strike. The Marlins did not see the back end of the Diamondbacks bullpen last night. They didn't need to. Joe Saunders was busy. He went 9. That one's deep left field off the top of the wall. Hayes around first, and he rumbles into second with his second double. And that ball nearly got out.
Hanging slider from Ian Kennedy. He hasn't left too many of those pitches up like that. Halfway up the fence. Solid swing. 2 doubles tonight from Brett Hayes.
He nearly face planted on his way to first.
Brett Hayes making his 5th start of the year and making the most of it tonight.
Well, here's Coghlan. It will be interesting to see who comes out on deck. In fact, I think Montero just glanced over there to see if anyone was on deck.
Well, all the lefties are in the lineup. So a pinch hit or anybody will be from the right side.
Giancarlo Stanton is on his way to the on-deck circle. 1-0. Hayes at second.
Even if you had, and I don't think Anibal Sanchez will go out there next inning, but even if you had a notion of sending him out there by putting Stanton in the on-deck circle, hey, maybe Chris Coghlan gets a pitch or 2 to hit.
Hayes has doubled twice. Dobbs has tripled. The Marlins are out hitting the Diamondbacks 5-3. Coghlan fights off a fastball. 1-2. 2 homers against Ian Kennedy.
So he does make a presence in the on-deck circle.
In the air, left field, Kubel. And the Marlins leave another runner in scoring position. And they still haven't scored against the Diamondbacks. In the 7th, group tickets available. Bring your team out, bring your group out, and a variety of affordable group packages and some great spots in this ballpark. 1-877-MARLINS, marlins.com/groups. Anibal Sanchez goes to work. First pitch pop foul, and in one of those spots we find Craig Minervini. Craig?
Yes, you know, we've been ignoring for some reason right field. You know, the Clevelanders getting all the attention to left field. But I'll tell you what, this is a great spot to catch the game. We're at the bullpen zone in right field. And this is Joe from Donan Engineering. Tori actually is with us with Alicia. And your group is here. Nice deal. It's a little over $100 a person. You got 60 people here. What do you get for that there?
You get food, drinks. Basically, you get the private area for friends, family, co-workers, clients. It's been a great time. It's our own private party.
Great sight lines. Alicia wanted to say something about the sight lines.
It's awesome.
Actually, she said, do not interview me. I'm just coming here to look. But as long as we're on talking, because I'm going to have a chicken wing, can you tell us about the sight line? I can't say anything. I mean,
it's good.
One comment about the sight line.
It's awesome.
You get to see into the visitors' dugout, or the bullpen. The visitors' bullpen's right here. We're watching them warm up, and you actually have a pretty good vantage point of the entire field.
The chicken wings are very good.
Whatever he said.
Chicken wings, very tasty.
Oh, yeah, great.
All right, you having fun with your group?
Yeah, having a great time.
All right, we're a little messy on it. Thanks for taking a while I was in today, guys. Okay, back to you.
Thank you, Craig. The incredible night of Anibal Sanchez continues. Wobbling in the first, throwing 57 pitches in the first 2 innings, 13 strikeouts, blowing right by his former career high, which was 11, and keeping his ball club in the game and pitching into the 7th inning.
This is absolutely beautiful to see. Getting some runs.
Looper right field. Dobbs is there. 17 in a row retired since Sanchez walked the first 2 hitters of the 2nd inning.
Well, this is going to be his last inning. He's up first. Ozzy's got to get something going. I'll tell you what, if the crowd here is as aware of everything that Anibal Sanchez has done, when he gets the final out of this inning and he walks off the mound, give him a standing ovation.
Bloomquist now has doubled, walked, and struck out, and made 2 very nice plays. One incredible play on the ball over the middle on Reyes' ball in the first inning, and the other a diving catch to rob Sanchez of what would have been an RBI hit. And the Fish still haven't scored. It's 2-0 with 2 outs in the 7th. Liner, that's foul. And the count is 0-2. 13 strikeouts for a guy that didn't look like he could get out of the first 2 innings.
And I remember we talked about it because he was a totally different pitcher after the back-to-back doubles when he struck out Upton and Kubel. And then he went back into that other pitcher.
14 strikeouts.
Wow. Give him an ovation.
Anibal Sanchez has retired 18 in a row, but the Marlins trail it 2-0. It has been a wild night here at Marlins Park. Another night where the Marlins just can't score. Along with Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine, Rich Waltz with you. There's the line score. It's 2-0. Ian Kennedy is still out there for the Diamondbacks. The Marlins will pinch hit for Anibal Sanchez with Omar Infante. So he's in the 9 spot, and Kennedy throws him a strike. It's Infante, Bonifacio, and Reyes here in the 7th. The Marlins have come close to scoring. The Diamondbacks have made some terrific defensive plays behind Kennedy, and the Marlins, quite honestly, have had some bad at-bats with runners in scoring position. That ball fouled back.
This is a situation, by the way, Rich, if Infante reaches, Ozzie will have to pinch run for him and not take a chance with that groin.
And the Marlins have hit balls hard at people. The Morrison double play was one. They came about 5 feet from a home run. Hayes hitting a ball halfway up the wall in left field. Here's the 0-2. Infante smokes one to center field. Back goes Parra. Reaches and he's not going to get it. Remember, Infante's got a sore groin. Gingerly around second, and he's in there, easing his way to third.
I think the most incredible thing right there is that Parra didn't make that catch, because everything tonight has been caught. A great at bat by the hottest Marlin hitter all year, Omar Infante. Not playing him deep. Parra shaded over toward right center as well. Couldn't quite get it. Looked like he just touched it. Nope, he didn't even touch it with leather. And I think everybody was watching Infante grimace a little bit as he rounds first base. Take it easy on the groin. Now you don't have to pinch run for him because he's at third.
Infield back except for Roberts at third. Bonifacio swing and a miss. It's the Marlins' second triple. Their other triple in the 4th by Greg Dobbs also led off an inning, and the Marlins still didn't score. because Kennedy struck out Brett Hayes, struck out Chris Coughlin, and got Sanchez to line out. 0-1 pitch.
This is the 4th at bat the Marlins have had tonight, with the runner at third and less than 2 out.
Joey Cora, Ozzie Guillen's bench coach. Bonifacio can put it on the ground, in play, get it past the pitcher up the middle. It's a run. 0-2. Reyes is next, and then you're into Hanley and Logan Morrison.
Rich, the 14 strikeouts by Anibal Sanchez, the most by any pitcher in the major leagues this year.
That's absolutely unbelievable after watching him in the first 2 innings. 1-2 coming. Bonifacio strikes out.
Now that pressure mounts in the dugout.
Reyes has walked, has a sacrifice bunt, and was robbed of a hit on the terrific play by Willie Bloomquist, the Diamondback shortstop, and was behind the bag at second. Infield still back. Reyes, a liner into right field. Hallelujah. The Marlins have a run. And the crowd coming to their feet. Reyes delivers. And it's a 1-run game. Infante trots home.
Now the Marlins had gone 19 innings without scoring a run. Put together some big hits, and they've knocked Ian Kennedy, who with his 5 strikeouts, they were all in key situations too. They've knocked him out of the game.
Kennedy on his way off the mound. Diamondbacks dipping into their bullpen. Reyes at first. We're back after this. Terrific. He's in line to win his 4th game already this season. He could go to 4-0 if his bullpen can hold this 2-1 lead. And Brian Shaw takes over. Shaw, the 24-year-old right-hander out of Livermore, California, Long Beach State.
Lots of cutters. Doesn't have a whole lot of break to it, but it's a pretty good one. And it would be fitting to just get on a little roll and allow Anibal Sanchez to win this game, because he right now is the pitcher of record for the Marlins.
Let's see how Shaw is to the plate. Hanley goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. The count is 0-1. Kennedy was very quick to the plate. Reyes on base for the third time. Did not attempt to steal early in the ball game. We've told you that Montero is a very good throwing catcher, the best in the National League last year. And there's that cutter on the outside corner. So it's 0-2. The offer has continued. He popped out with runners at second and third and one out. That was back in the third. Flied to right with a runner at first and one out in the sixth. 0-2. Time called. Hanley had waited enough. Reyes has 4 stolen bases. He's been caught twice this year. And he strikes out Hanley Ramirez. So Hanley's 0 for continues. 0 for 3 tonight. 0 for 6 in the series. And here comes Morrison.
Yeah, it's a hard cutter, too. You saw that pitch to Hanley.
Well, a cutter that obviously breaks away from Hanley will come in on Morrison. You think about Morrison's night tonight. He's 0 for 2 and was hit by a pitch. Reyes bluffs. It's outside. And his 0 for the hot smash up the middle. It turned into a double play. And then the ground ball he pulled seemingly through the hole on the right side that Aaron Hill made the sprawling, tumbling stop, rolled over and threw him out at first base. And so he's 0 for 2 with a sore right knee. Reyes, a bigger lead. Shaw in for Kennedy. Reyes is running. Montero's throw is low, and he is out. Reyes is out at second. Bloomquist held the ball, and the Diamondbacks still lead it 2-1.
Doubled home Bloomquist, who had doubled prior to him. They got another run, their second run in the inning on Miguel Montero's base hit. But you know what? All of a sudden, Anibal Sanchez really settled down. 14 strikeouts, establishing a career high. His career high was 11 prior to the game tonight. The Marlins finally got a run after 19 consecutive scoreless innings. A leadoff pitch hit triple by Infante. Jose Reyes with a base hit, driving him in. 2-1 game. It's been filled with a lot of excitement.
So the 8th inning rolls around. Both starters are out. Both bullpens take over. And the first out of the Marlins pen is Randy Choate. Sanchez, 7 solid innings in the books. The career high, 14 strikeouts, 4 walks. And amazingly, Sanchez 110 pitches.
Very manageable.
Gerardo Parra, Justin Upton, Jason Kubel. And Choate misses inside. Parra RBI double in the first, has struck out. Now trying to bunt for a hit on a nice play by Hanley Ramirez in the 5th inning. Marlin bullpen last night gave up some late runs in the 9th. Runs last night were charged to Ryan Webb. Mike Dunn, Webb, and Chad Godin in relief of Carlos Zambrano. Zambrano went 6 last night. And that went off of Brett Hayes, who's had a very nice night both behind the plate and at the plate. He has a pair of doubles.
Steve Cishek getting loose. They have a righty in Justin Upton after Parra, but then a couple of lefties, Kubel and Montero.
Parra checking to see if Hayes is okay. But Chris Young is a center fielder for Arizona, and he's out with an injured shoulder. But watching Parra in this big ballpark in this series, he can play that position quite well himself. He won a Gold Glove in left field last year. Little tapper. Choate takes it, fires it. That's a nice play.
That's a good play because he really took charge. It would have been a tougher play for Brett Hayes, and a lot of pitchers aren't going to do this, but he calls off Hayes. You can listen. He yells, "I got it," first, picks and fires. A nice job.
Tougher play for a right-handed pitcher as well.
Yeah, and he was able to turn and spin and make a good throw.
Now Upton. This is an interesting matchup here. Choate against a right-handed slugger. Upton tonight is 0 for 3, and all of the at-bats have resulted in strikeouts. So he made up 3 of the 14 strikeouts that Anibal Sanchez had tonight.
Kubel 3 times.
That's the 3 and 4 hitter in the Diamondbacks order. David Hernandez got some quality arms down there. Hernandez leading, of course, to J.J. Putz. Choate ready. Here's his 2-0. He misses down low. There's Kubel, who had 4 hits last night. Obviously, be very careful with Upton.
The tough part, you've got a guy who's averaged 20 stolen bases over the last 3 years. So now you got some speed for the Diamondbacks at first base.
Upton looking across the diamond at Matt Williams. the third base coach. Marlins couldn't get him out last night. He was on base all 5 times. Tonight he can't get on. He was 4 for 4 with a walk last night. He's 0 for 3, 3 punch outs tonight.
And he's got that 10-game hitting streak alive.
Oh and 1. You see Brett Hayes looking into the Marlins dugout, wanting to know whether the Marlins want to A, throw over to first, B, pitch out. And Choate with a quick move over. It's a pretty good base stealer over there as well as the first base coach, Eric Young.
Yeah, EY with 465 career stolen bases. He's got EY Jr. stealing him in the same place in Denver. Very popular player for the Rockies.
That pitch inside. Now, Eric Young was an all-star. Matt Williams was an all-star. Charles Nagy was an all-star. Alan Trammell an all-star. Don Baylor an all-star. Kirk Gibson.
It's amazing. Never an all-star.
But of course, he was an MVP. 2-1. Now it's 3-1 as Choate trying to get Kubel. You got Miguel Montero up next. So you've got the guy on the mound that you want. Choate is the Marlins lefty specialist. It appeared that he was pitching cautiously to Upton, and now he's having trouble zeroing back in against Kubel. Soft line drive. It's dropped by Reyes, who gets the out, and the throw to first. There's one out will be recorded.
Yeah, they're saying he intentionally dropped it. It's actually a smart play because if it works,
yes,
and if it's not ruled intentional, then you have a slower runner at first base in Kubel instead of Upton.
Yeah, Reyes.
But the umpires figured this one out.
Reyes would have liked to erase Upton there.
It's a tough call, though, for an umpire. A lot of umpires don't make that call. I mean, you don't know.
And Ozzie Guillen's coming out.
Yeah, Ozzie knows that play as a shortstop.
And Reyes right now is arguing.
I mean, as an umpire, you assume what he's doing, but how do you know for sure? Either way, it was a good try by Jose Reyes.
Well, Reyes certainly sold it. Watching, he looks it into his glove.
I mean, I think he dropped it intentionally, but
I know he dropped it intentionally.
It was a good try,
and I think he knows he dropped it intentionally. But he did, like I said, he did a nice job of selling it. It wasn't a blatant drop. So speed still remains at first, and another lefty is up there.
So the put out will go to Jose Reyes.
Now you got Montero, who drove in a run in the first with an RBI single. He drove in 3 last night. So 3 for 8 in the series with 4 RBIs, and Choate misses. And it's 1-0. Well, if Upton is going to run, now that there are 2 outs, you would think the chances increase. Choate falls behind, and look at what those 2 pitches are. They're in the strike zone.
Yeah, we've seen pitches in that area called strikes tonight. That's about Randy Choate's A move. His key is that he can alter his delivery. He can go a little quicker, a little slide step. So he can change it up that way.
Well, right now he's got to focus on home plate. Ground ball. Diving stop. Bonifacio. Yeah! Wow! Emilio Bonifacio robbing Miguel Montero and finishing the Diamondbacks in the 8th. Zone on top. And a terrific play there by Emilio Bonifacio, skidding to a stop on his knee, and a sideways flip to get the out.
And that's the position he played mostly coming up in the minor leagues with the Diamondbacks. So you know he loves making a play like that against Arizona. Just able to turn and get enough on it. And got some help from Gabby with a good pick, too. I always like the other end.
Logan Morrison, remember, Morrison was at the plate when Reyes was thrown out to end the 7th. And so his at bat will span
2 pitchers.
2 pitchers. He saw Brian Shaw. He's not charged as an at bat, but I'm sure it felt like one. And here is David Hernandez. Hernandez with solid numbers so far. Diamondbacks bullpen was much improved last year, and that as we pointed out last night, was one of the reasons for their dramatic turnaround from worst to first. The Arizona Pen had 58 saves, and that led the majors. They shaved over 2 runs off their ERA from 2010 to 2011. And Arizona last year, Tommy Hutton, when leading after 8 innings, was 84-0. It's pretty good.
Time to turn that around. Get it going the other direction. A little different.
Morrison, right field. That ball's deep. That ball's gone. It's tied. Have been waiting and waiting and waiting. And Morrison drives one out of here to right field. 2-2.
First one of the regular season we've seen hit in that direction. You had a feeling it would be Logan Morrison, his second of the year. And just like that, it's a tie ball game. It's taken a while, but it's back to a tie.
Gabby Sanchez, 0 for 3. Pitch outside from Hernandez. $33,525, the crowd.
Good fastball. Hernandez has that power fastball, a little sink to it, but that one didn't sink. And Logan Morrison, as you illustrated, has had great at-bats. Has hit the ball hard twice. He got hit on the foot, but that one he launched.
His second Coast Guard salute of the season. Greg Dobbs will follow Sanchez. Brett Hayes behind him. Dobbs and Hayes have had some of the best at-bats of the night for the Fish. Hernandez deals. And the big man throws it by Gabby Sanchez. If you're hitting the road, you can take the Marlins with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv today and see every Marlins out-of-market game live on your favorite device in HD quality. Visit Marlins.com to order. Get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. So Logan Morrison, his second homer of the season. The Marlins got a run in the 7th. The triple by Infante, the single by Reyes, and now a homer has tied it. Dobbs going after a changeup. Part of being successful coming out of any bullpen is having a little different look and feel from the guy you follow. And Hernandez certainly very different than Brian Shaw, who's got that cutter.
Yeah, Shaw the cutter. Hernandez throws a little harder. Will kind of throw a big 3/4 curveball along with the changeup. And 95 he reached on that one.
That's an easy 95
yeah.
too. So the count's 0-2. Dobbs tripled in the 4th and has flied out twice. Got in on his hands and it's fouled back. Heath Bell in the pen. Bottom of the 8th. 2-2 game. 0-2. Got him. So a strikeout of Greg Dobbs. 2 outs in the inning. Toyota trend. Diamondbacks have not committed an error in their last 5 games and have turned 7 double plays. Tommy pointed it out last night. The Diamondbacks are off to a great start defensively. Bloomquist and Hill up the middle. Roberts, Hara. They've got a very good catcher.
Yeah, they've made just 11 errors.
Hayes swings and misses. Hayes has had a productive night. Doubled down the line in the 2nd. Doubled off the wall in the 6th. One of the changes that Ozzie Guillen made to his lineup tonight. Hayes getting the start in place of John Buck. Omar Infante out of the lineup because of a tight groin, and Infante an enormous pinch hit in the 7th, a leadoff triple. Giancarlo Stanton not in the lineup tonight. Greg Dobbs in his place.
There's that 3/4 heart curveball.
Second season with the Diamondbacks for Hernandez. Sacramento. Cosumnes River Junior College. And
again,
that makes Morrison's home run even more impressive because Hernandez strikes out the side after the tying home run. Logan Morrison pumps one into the seats. And this game, as we go to the 9th, is tied at 2. Looked like they were going to knock Anibal Sanchez out. Sanchez threw 57 pitches through the first 2, then suddenly lightning struck, and Anibal struck out a career 14 hitters. The Marlins have come back to tie it on that Logan Morrison home run. Giancarlo Stanton comes in a double switch with Steve Cishek now occupying the 6th spot in the order. Stanton is due up 2nd in the bottom of the 9th. In the 9 spot. And here is Cishek, and he's charged with picking the baton up from Randy Choate, who was wobbly a bit in the 8th. He walked a man, fell behind some guys, and got a terrific play by Emilio Bonifacio to finish what would be a scoreless 8th inning.
Well, the last time out for Cishek is certainly a memorable one, a historical one. He was one of 4 pitchers involved in walking 4 consecutive hitters in that 7th inning at Citi Field in New York. So he's back out there and really hadn't had many bumps in the road. That's about it. He's been tremendous just about every time he's gone out there.
Paul Goldschmidt, big power hitting first baseman, has lined out, bounced out, and walked. A ball and a strike. Goldschmidt, Aaron Hill, Ryan Roberts. 6, 7, 8. That one fouled back to the screen. 32,000 last night, 33,000 tonight. University of Miami night. It's actually turned into University of Miami weekend. Which continues tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Drive to right. Stanton back. Turning at the track. He makes the catch. Goldschmidt, strong like Giancarlo. He can drive it out that direction. That's out number 1 here in the ninth. Marlins Live postgame brought to you, of course, by Checkers. Greg Minervini, Jeff Conine. If you watch the first 2 innings, you might not believe that Anibal Sanchez struck out 14 and lasted 7 innings, but they'll show you the highlights. All the ups and downs, the frustrating first 6 innings for the Marlins offensively, the close calls, the great defense by the Diamondbacks, and the Marlins have turned in some gems tonight as well. Cishek misses in, and it's 2-0 to a guy that also can pop it out of the park, Aaron Hill.
Yeah, this game has been filled with a lot of really neat stuff. Sometimes you can watch 5 or 6 games and not see everything we've seen tonight.
Two-1. Outside corner. 2-2. Late swing by Aaron Hill in the National League tonight. Pittsburgh leading Atlanta 4-2, bottom 7. St. Louis won again. They're 14-7. They beat Milwaukee 7-3. Phillies lead the Cubs. Phillies have defeated the Cubs 5-2. Ground ball foul. Joe Blanton the win. Jonathan Papelbon's 7th save.
I believe in that Cardinal game, Kyle Loesch was the winning pitcher's 4th win. Loesch 4-0 now with a 1.62 ERA.
Carlos Ruiz homered for the Phillies. Padres have scored first against the Giants. 1-0 in the 3rd. Brad Ziegler and J.J. Puts the closer. Ziegler, the submariner. Ooh. Is it a
Cishek got away with one there. That was a hanging breaking ball, and Hill had a good rip.
Is it a submariner or a submariner?
Submariner. Submariners up in Seattle. It's a guy not having a good year.
Swing and a miss. Cishek dusts off Aaron Hill. And so he's got 2 outs in the 9th. Brings up Ryan Roberts.
That strikeout, the 15th Diamondback to strike out tonight.
Now Roberts. The wave has become commonplace here at Marlins Park.
There was something on many a drizzly, rainy awful night we didn't get to see too often.
Dribbler, Bonifacio charging, throwing, got the out, 1-2-3. Go the Diamondbacks in the ninth, bottom of the ninth in a 2-2 game in Miami tonight. Down 2-0 all night long. The Marlins got a run in the seventh on that Reyes single following the Infante pinch hit triple. You saw Morrison's homer leave the yard. And now in the bottom of the ninth, the Marlins are going to try to walk off. They've got a tough customer on the mound. Brad Ziegler throws from one of the weirdest angles you'll see. A knuckle-dragging submariner.
Yeah, he scrapes his knuckles on the mound with his delivery, and then of course from that delivery he'll throw that what they call frisbee slider. A little easier to take as a left-handed hitter. So Coghlan leads it off.
Coghlan, Stanton, Bonifacio. Ziegler, who got to the big leagues and established himself with the Oakland Athletics. Found a home here in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Last year he was acquired late in the season, 23 appearances, and he was dynamite, a 1.74 ERA. Coghlan takes down low. Ziegler from Southwest Missouri State. Last 4 years, up until the end of last year, with the Athletics. And he was durable, dependable, and really, really good. He brings a 2.43 career ERA into this season. But he doesn't get the corner there, and the count's full. Three-two. Coghlan jam, fouls it off his foot. Brian Shaw for an inning. David Hernandez for an inning. And now Ziegler.
Yeah, we're getting a chance to get a good look at that Diamondbacks bullpen. Right off that right ankle.
Held by Montero, and Coghlan strikes out. This will be an interesting at bat. You've got a struggling Giancarlo Stanton, and you've got the funky delivery of Ziegler. Goes after the first pitch. Little dribbler down the line. Roberts. He's safe. Goldschmidt with a sweep tag that just missed. You saw Jim Joyce in your shot there. He was right on top of the call.
Well, with Roberts playing so deep at third base, this little chopper, he has a long way to go. Giancarlo up the line, and no chance. Probably will be a base hit.
It is. Infield hit. Now Bonifacio. 1 for 3. A walk, a single, and a pair of strikeouts. Ziegler misses away.
Talking to Bonifacio, he mentioned as the Diamondback came up as a second baseman, but started to play the outfield in winter ball in the Dominican.
Stanton's running, a little hit and run and a chopper. Goldschmidt has it, steps on the bag. The winning run is in scoring position, but there are 2 outs, and here comes Reyes, who's had good at bats tonight.
Give Ozzie Guillen credit trying to create something. He put a little pressure on Bonifacio to make contact because you don't expect Stanton to steal a bag. So by at least making contact, he's got Giancarlo in scoring position.
So Reyes tonight, remember, he had a hit stolen by Willie Bloomquist in the first, a sacrifice bunt, a walk in the 5th, and his RBI single snapped a scoreless streak which spanned all the way into New York. And look at this.
Wow.
The Diamondbacks would rather pitch to Hanley Ramirez than Jose Reyes, and watching the at-bats tonight, who could blame them?
Yeah, and you have back-to-back batting champs in the lineup between Jose Reyes and Hanley. But remember how Hanley was on the last homestand, how he excited the crowd with some late-inning heroics.
Well, the Marlins had 2 walk-off wins on that homestand. Gabby Sanchez in that first game of the Astros series. And you'll remember the Astros intentionally walked the bases loaded to get to Hanley. There was 1 out, and Hanley ended it with a long single to right. But he is riding one of the longest 0-for streaks now in his career. Ziegler misses in.
Yeah, and 0 for 26. The longest ever Hanley has gone was his rookie season. In 2006, he was 0 for 29.
1 for 10. With runners in scoring position. Outfield has shortened up. Stanton at second with 2 outs. Reyes at first. And Hanley pulls a ground ball foul. This game was 2-0 Arizona for the longest time. Ian Kennedy looked like he was headed for win number 4. The Marlins tried all they could to score a run and just couldn't do it. Some great defense. Some awful at-bats in key spots. But they broke through in the 7th. Morrison tied it in the 8th. Hanley obviously trying to shoot that ball to the right side. Was late on it, and it's 1-2.
Boy, the key, and it's certainly easier said than done, and Hanley knows it. He just has to shorten things up to get quicker to the ball.
One and two. Ziegler. Hanley driven into the corner. Ball game. Let's go home. Marlins walk off. What a win! Can I get a big woo? From Anibal Sanchez, striking out a career-high 14, to Jose Reyes' clutch single, to Morrison's tying homer, to the bullpen keeping it there, to Hanley ending it. What a ride for 33,000 tonight at Marlins Park.
Boy, and you talk about a well-struck ball, too, with 2 strikes. Hanley hit the ball as well as he can and was able to pull it down that line. Great concentration, great quickness to get to that pitch on the inner half. That's something he's been working on, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Boy, Ziegler left that fastball right in his happy zone. Low, inside part of the plate. There wasn't much tail to it. 3rd walk-off win for the Fish. 8th win of the season. And a much, much needed victory. And a crowd that has been waiting.
It looks like they're starting to wave.
Waiting since last night to make some noise. And Hanley Ramirez finishes it. He's down below with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hanley, a 1-2 pitch against a side armor. Great moment for you to break out for your ball club.
It's been tough. It's been tough, you know, for all year. I think we pretty much we're trying too hard. You know, I think we got everything calm down and just, you know, relax and enjoy the game.
Your thoughts when Jose was walked?
I mean, you know, I think just put the ball in play. He's one of the toughest pitchers in the game. You know, side arm. I was trying to short my swing down, and I just, you know, made a good swing.
Here's the pitch. Take a look at it. I know you felt right away it was going to stay fair. This had to feel great, though.
Yeah, stay inside of the pitch. It was a good pitch. Thank God I got a chance to make a good swing.
Were you inspired at all by walking Reyes in front?
I mean, yeah, kind of. You know, I think I like those moments. You know, I think we need it. Sometimes we need those moments. I think it's good.
No one's going after you, Hanley. In other words, the challenge is good, and then you guys really needed a challenge tonight. You had one with Kennedy. How about, is that coming behind us? Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Wait, Lobo, give him some water first. We're going to give him some water. Hey, wait, here.
Thankfully, no meniscuses were damaged in the pieing, a double pieing by Bonifacio. Getting Morrison, who was on Arizona TV, who didn't seem to flinch, and then Hanley washing out the bench.
It's a double dose. It hasn't happened for a long time.
Hanley, I want to ask you about Annabelle tonight. Who would have thought after the rocky start he had that he would get it together? 14 strikeouts. So what was your view?
I mean, when they got a good pitcher like that, good pitcher, you know, they go through a tough inning. I think he knew that early in the game he was struggling a little bit, but he come back and, you know, finishes strong.
You know, to get a win like this, or a nice Eddie win, but to win like this feels even a little better, I bet, for you guys.
Definitely. I think we will lose 7 in a row. I think for our crowd, our home crowd, you know, they deserve this. I think it's a good win for us.
Great job. Thanks, Hanley.
Thank you.
All right, Hanley Ramirez, guys, let's go back up to you.
All right, thank you, Craig. Nice job yourself down there. The crowd, with the roof opening, the fireworks show will start here shortly. And what a wild night. You said it midway through the game. This is one of the stranger games, not only this year, and you said it, not only all year, but it's one of the stranger games we've seen in some time.
Especially the performance of Anibal Sanchez. And to see the way the ball club came back scoring in the 7th, 8th, and 9th to finally win it.
The Marlins do win it. Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Checkers. Feast on. 2 hours and 51 minutes. Fish win at 3-2. Steve Cishek is the winner. Brad Ziegler takes the loss. A lot of heroes in this one. A lot of highlights in this one. We'll talk about the heroes. We'll show you the highlights on Marlins Live, brought to you by Checkers. Coming up from Miami.